Losing my mother felt like losing the sun. She was the rhythm of our home, the warmth, the balance, the voice that made every room feel alive. When she passed, silence moved in like a shadow. It filled the corners, settled into the walls, and changed everything. My father, once so full of life, began to vanish before my eyes. His laugh disappeared first, then his words, then his appetite. He barely moved. The man who had always been our rock now sat at the window for hours, staring at nothing, like he was waiting for something or someone that would never return. At first, I told myself he just needed time. Grief comes in waves, they say. But for him, it felt like a tide that never receded. Weeks became months, and still he withered. I couldn't watch him fade. So I stepped in. I cooked the meals Mom used to make. I kept the house clean, lit candles in the evening, played her favorite music softly in the background. I sat with him after dinner, filling the silence the best I could. It felt right at first, like I was helping him find a way through. But slowly, something began to shift. He asked me to stay longer, to sit closer. He reached for my hand more often. I told myself it was just grief, that he missed her so much. He was clinging to whatever connection he had left. Then one night, I found him watching an old home video. My mother's laugh filled the room. He smiled faintly, just for a second, and then turned to me. "You look so much like her," he whispered. I nodded. She was my mom. But the way he looked at me, something in his gaze made my skin go cold. It lingered too long. It wasn't just sadness. It was something else. Something I didn't want to name. After that, he clung tighter. He called for me constantly. Grew anxious if I left the house too long. I still tried to believe it was the grief, just taking a strange shape. Then came the compliments that didn't feel like compliments. "You're just like her," he said once, his voice lower than usual. There was something in his tone, an edge, a weight, that made me uneasy. When I mentioned catching up with friends, he frowned. "Why do you need them?" he asked. "I'm here." There was no anger in his voice, just a strange, possessive calm. It wasn't until Micah, an old family friend, came by that someone else noticed. He pulled me aside after an awkward visit. "Are you okay?" he asked. I nodded too quickly. He didn't buy it. "He looks at you differently." A chill ran through me. Micah had seen it too. What I had tried to ignore. What I had been too afraid to name. After that, things spiraled. My father grew controlling, jealous. Suspicious of anyone I talked to, especially Micah. One night, he said, "I don't like how close you are with him." I laughed nervously. "He's just a friend." "Friends turn into more," he muttered. I had no reply. The moment everything shifted came late one night. I passed by his room and heard him whispering. I paused, thinking he might be talking to Mom again, like he sometimes did in his sleep. But then I heard it, my name. "You came back," he murmured. "You're still here." My whole body froze. That wasn't grief. That was delusion. That was something much darker. From then on, I avoided him. But even that wasn't enough. The air in the house grew heavier, harder to breathe. One evening, as I cleared the dinner table, he reached out and placed his hand over mine. "You take such good care of me," he whispered. "Just like she did." I gently pulled my hand back. "You should rest." His eyes locked on mine. "You don't have to call me Dad, you know." My stomach dropped. "Sometimes," he continued, "you remind me so much of her." "I forget." Panic welled in my chest. "I think I need to stay with a friend for a few days." He stood. "You're leaving me?" "I just need space." "You don't need space," he said quietly. "You just need to see that this is all we have left." Just then, my phone buzzed. A message from Micah. "Are you okay?" I ran. My father called after me, but I didn't answer. I flung the door open, and there was Micah, standing on the porch, concern etched into his face. "What happened?" he asked. Before I could respond, my father appeared in the doorway. "This doesn't concern you, Micah." Micah didn't move. He reached for me. "Come with me." And in that moment, I made my choice. I took his hand and stepped outside. My father didn't try to stop me. He just stood there, watching as we drove off into the night. Micah said nothing, giving me space. Only later, when the silence had softened, did he speak. "Do you want to talk about it? Tears welled in my eyes. I don't even know where to start. You don't have to, he said. Just know you're not alone. That night, we stayed at his cousin's place. It was the first breath of fresh air I'd taken in months. Calls came from my father, some angry, some pleading. I didn't answer. Eventually, I found a job. Then my own apartment. And slowly, peace. Micah stayed close. Not to rescue me, but to walk beside me. One evening, as we walked along the water, he took my hand and said, "You're free now." I closed my eyes and felt the wind across my skin, light and clean. "Yeah," I whispered. "I am."